This
Now,
conference will now be recorded.
InfoPath is something that was helping us in two different ways. We could have customized list forms, SharePoint list forms, and also we could have created form library based forms, wherein it would get saved directly as an XML file, or more precisely .xsn format, right? And then we could have integrated it with like SharePoint task list, customize the fields, whatever kind of validations you want to include, you could have done it with much ease. And then we also had the ability to include custom code. We could have written C# code or VB code, and we could have added it to InfoPath form and published it, right? So why like InfoPath? What happened with InfoPath? InfoPath was something which was not meant for cloud. When Microsoft started it, or they designed the overall architecture of InfoPath, at that time there was no cloud, and there was nothing, no future vision in terms of like cloud. So this is the reason why the XML format that they have been using mostly for working with InfoPath is something which is not very much optimized with Office 365 platform. Especially, you know that in SharePoint Online, it's a SaaS product, software as a service technology, when it's not like our farm structure, when there's only a single computer that is running. There are millions of sites running on Office 365, and most of them are sharing resources. At that time, whatever uh, custom code or whatever customization that we make on SharePoint Online, that is eventually going to impact the compute resources that is running this particular site. So it becomes very important for Microsoft to actually control these factors. And this is the reason why, like, after InfoPath 2013, they have not released any next version, right? So there's that is the last client version that they are giving, and there's not going to be any next version of InfoPath actually. So InfoPath was very tightly coupled with SharePoint. So InfoPath could not have worked with any other data sources. The maximum that we could have done is that we could have used business connectivity services to connect to a different data source and thereafter bring that data to InfoPath. But it was never designed with like multiple data sources in mind. Now, so what PowerApps is and how it's going to help us. PowerApps is the next generation solution that Microsoft is giving for designing forms and creating apps. It's not just about designing forms. The people who are coming with SharePoint background, we have got modern lists, modern sites already been introduced in Office 365. And now after March 31st, I think you will have to explicitly go and thereafter enable classic version. After that, like Microsoft is going to make modern look as the default one. So Power Apps is something that works quite well, or like it will work with the modern list and modern sites, right? So here, in this case, this is my Contoso marketing site. This is a SharePoint online site, and so there's a reason why, like here, you see that I'm getting the option to create an app, or I can customize forms. Also, I can create a flow directly from here. This is available in your modern list or modern libraries. If I change this view to classic SharePoint, then obviously like you're not going to get this option, right? So this is our classic look and feel. You don't see this Power Apps option coming up over here. So yes, to work with your this Power Apps, you will have to use the modern look and feel, modern list and library. So now, how what all options Power Apps is giving us? The first option is that, as I said, that you can customize this list form. We can customize the list form the way we used to do with the help of InfoPath, or the people who have worked with Nintex or K2. We can do the same thing over here. And the other option, which is like unique and very much special to Power Apps, is that we can create apps. Now, when I say app, it's a mobile app, or the app we run on tablet or iPad. Similar to that, we can design apps in Power Apps. So hold on, like, does that mean that we are going to create an app and thereafter we are going to put it in like Google Play Store, or we are going to put it in Apple Store? No, not exactly. Microsoft has already created apps. If you go, depending on whichever device that you are using, whichever mobile or tablet, iPad you're using, you can go and connect to Apple Store or Google Store. There you can search for Microsoft Power Apps app and Microsoft Flow app. You can download it on your mobile, and thereafter in the next step you can log in with your organization account. So for example, here I am logged in with a user account, my name at thinkcloud4.onmicrosoft.com. So I can use the same account and connect to the Microsoft Power Apps app that I'll be installing on my mobile. So once I connect to that, then whichever app that has been shared with me, so maybe like as an organization, my organization has created Contoso. If I take example of Contoso itself, Contoso has created an app for a bleed tracker. You can see the entire like history of whatever like leave you have applied, and thereafter what is your outstanding leave vacation. And likewise we can have different type of apps. One of the app is just for like booking cabs. You want to book a cab, you can do it. You want to book a meeting room in your organization, there can be an app for that. Okay, so we can go ahead. So depending on whichever app that you have actually created, all of those apps will get listed in your Microsoft Power Apps app that you'll be downloading on your mobile. Okay, so how we go about it, how we create it, that is something that we are going to look into. But here in the very first step, what it's saying is that we can go ahead and first of all connect to any kind of data sources. So this can be like your cloud-based data source, right? Or we have got like on-premise. My apologies, I'm writing with a free hand, so please don't curse me for my handwriting. Okay, so in this case, yeah, so we have got cloud and on-premise that we can connect to. On the other side, whatever like app that we are going to build, there's no need for you to write any code. Now when I say don't write any code, it means like we need not write all this JavaScript, jQuery, or like C# code. Is going to be imperative coding that we are going to do, very much similar to how we do in Microsoft Excel. You write formulas, and with the help of those formulas you can do different operations, right? So will have to do something like that. So Power Apps uses pretty much like Excel format formulas. We'll discuss about it when I open a Power App. Okay, so and thereafter once you have designed your Power App, you can go ahead and publish it. Once you publish it, it has cross device support. So we need not worry about this thing that customer is going to use it from an iPad or from a desktop or a mobile device. This is something that Power Apps is going to take care of. Our job is only to design the app and thereafter publish it. So yes, this makes things much easier, right? So here, so what is the underlying architecture? If you're talking about Power Apps, then what is it like through which Power Apps is able to connect to different type of data sources? We have Microsoft has created your business application platform. Now this is a common platform which includes a whole list of different SaaS connectivity to different services. You want to connect to Azure, you want to connect to service desk, you want to connect to any other like even open source tools. You can go ahead and connect it. Why? Because all of these has been put together under business application platform. What I mean to say is that here, So this is my SharePoint list, and in the SharePoint list, I am connecting. Okay, so I'm opening PowerApps. So in this case, I can start with like PowerApps from here, and then so once you connect to PowerApps, it will take you to web.powerapps.com, and here you see there are like different templates available. What is important is that here in this left navigation, I'm clicking on connections. I just want to show you that what exactly this business application platform contains. Okay, so if I click on new connection, in this case, you will see there's a long list of data sources that we can connect to. So this is something which is like Microsoft has designed as a like common platform. So they keep adding new data sources over here. So you want to connect to a SQL database, you just need to connect to from here, right? So it is asking that do you want to connect to a cloud-based SQL server, which can be Azure SQL, or you can have SQL running on the virtual machine in cloud. And then you have got connect using on-premises data gateway. If you want to connect to a local SQL instance, then also you are free to go ahead, deploy a gateway, and thereafter with the help of that you can go ahead and pull this data in Power Apps. So these all SaaS connectors that you see over here combinedly forms the your business application platform. So whether you talk about Power Apps or Microsoft Flow or Power BI, all these three tools combinedly fall under business application platform. So all these three tools are actually using a common data platform, and this entire common data platform that we see is actually running on Azure, right? So Power Apps is altogether different service. It is not tightly coupled with SharePoint. Please understand that Power Apps is not a tool that has been created only for SharePoint. It works with SharePoint the way it will work with any kind of data source. SharePoint is just a data source for Power Apps. The way it can connect to an Oracle database, it can connect to an SAP database, or it can connect to different type of data sources. Similar to that, SharePoint is also just a data source. So here, this whatever like hosting or whatever app that we are going to create, where exactly is it will be maintained. So internally, the entire support that Power Apps or all these three technologies require within business application platform is supported through Microsoft Azure. Guys, if you have any question, please feel free to ask. Don't stop yourself from asking question. Make use of the chat window and type your question over there. So what is the business app gap? Okay, so there's like there's a point that show me some real-time example. We are discussing the concept. If you just like wait for a while, I'll demonstrate you application. Okay. So why Power Apps is like so important from customer standpoint? Uh, all of us, I know that we are moving towards cloud. Almost everything is moving on cloud. So for this reason, based on the overall structure of how data is getting consumed, we have got like we do not have the organization where like we have got all of the people doing mobile app development. So if someone asks me to do this thing, that okay, a customer comes with this requirement that can you automate and create an app for our team for a particular process automation, then in that case the first challenge will be that how do I develop a mobile app? Let me connect to the mobile app development team. We are not going to like, I cannot just go ahead and create it, and thereafter how we are going to host it in this store, and from there you will have to connect. There are like so many challenges. So yes, talent is one of the challenge. Then the next thing is access, how people are going to access it. There are a lot of factors that needs to be controlled. And the third thing is that how easy or how difficult it is to distribute or control the data that we want to give to the users. Okay. So these are like main points of what are the challenges that we face. We have got mix of data sources. It's difficult to go ahead and connect to each of these data sources without doing custom programming. Okay, so Power Apps is going to help us with these problems, and these are different target audience. It's not just restricted to developers. That is one good news and bad news at the same time for developers. It can be developed by even information workers, the people who have got little bit of uh, analytical skill. They can actually go ahead and develop a Power App for their team. So let's go ahead and create a Power App and see that how exactly it works. Okay. So here, this is our Power Apps platform, right? So I have connected to web.powerapps.com, and I have got a list of apps, right? So I have got like few apps that are pre-created. The people who have already are aware about Power App platform, they will be pretty much aware about these all settings. The people who are looking at it for the first time, you can go ahead and create an app from here. So you're getting a whole list of different templates, or if you want to start from so you can start from a blank app, or you can use a list and you can start from that. Okay, so here in this case, if I connect to my Contoso marketing site, I have got customers list which has got some data related to customers. Right, so here in this case, if I have to create an app, I can create an app from here. I'll call it as customers app. Okay, and I'll create it. It would take a while to connect to your data source, and then it will create few default screens. Okay, so this is yeah, it will take a while. Yeah, so here in this case, it is creating a mobile app based view. So I can run this. You can press F5 and run it from here, and then it is connecting to the list that I have used just now, and then based on whatever information is included over here is populating the information, and thereafter I can click on any of these record, and thereafter we can modify this and submit this data. Now this is a default app, so few things that I would like to highlight over here, because before I show you another app, is that each of the app that you create, in this case it is actually included, there are several screens that are included over here. So a single app can have multiple screens, so you have got different type of screens that you can include in your app. So once you have the screen included, so this is my customers screen, you can include controls. So here in this browser screen, we have got like multiple controls that is added. So in this case, we have got this gallery control included over here. So once you add the gallery control, or for that matter, you can use forms or data table, there are different controls that are available over here. You can use this, and then you can connect these controls with each other. We can design the entire navigation with the help of this. So when you click on any of these control, so for an example, in this case we are getting a search button here on the top, and this is a gallery control. Gallery control, the way you see chat, list of chats, people you're chatting with in WhatsApp, very similar to this. You have got this gallery over here which is showing us different items over here, right? So, and there's a filter button over here. How exactly this filter button is going to work? If you look at this, click on this gallery, you should always like select the control from the left navigation. If you select this control from here, you will see that because gallery control can hold items, right? It will include one or more than item. That is what like a gallery can do. So this is the reason why, like when you select this control, you will get the option to select these properties, whatever like properties that you want to set. So here in this case, once we select this gallery control, it is showing us that there's a list of formula that is written over here: sort by columns, filter, customers. Now, from where exactly it is connecting, how things are actually coming up over here. Whenever we create an app, please understand that we need to include data sources. So if I want to work with this list customers, then the first thing is that I need to have this data source included in my app. Because I created this app by default, that is the reason why this data source got added by default. If I would start with a blank canvas app, then I'll have to explicitly go create a connection and thereafter include the data source over here. So you click on this tab of data sources and you will see that there's a single data source that is created over here, and it is using a particular connection. So how can I see this connection? If you click over here in files and click on your connections, it will show you what are the existing connections in your complete environment that you are having. In this particular app, I'm just connecting to a SharePoint list. So this is the reason why I'm seeing only single data source. If I want to go ahead and use other data sources, I can easily go ahead, click on data source, and then select a new data source. It will ask me that which is the connection you want to use. So is it like you want to connect to your local SQL, or is it like you want to connect to another list in SharePoint? You make use of this connection and go and connect. I may be interested in bringing the list of tasks that is pending in the users bucket through Microsoft Planner. For that, we have got a connection. So any Power App that you create, so this is how it's actually going to look in your mobile device. If I publish it with the default functionality, this is how you're going to see this, right? And then we have got a next set of formulas written over here. You're populating all of the items from the customers list, and then on the click of each of these button against each of these item, what we are doing is that we are navigating to the next screen. So it's simply like telling the way we write like response.redirect, very similar to that. We have got two different functions that you can use in Power Apps. One is your navigate and the second one is back function. Navigate helps you navigate from any screen to any screen, whereas like back function will help you to go to the back screen from where you navigated. So this is simply redirecting the user to a different screen. I can press Alt and thereafter directly use it over here. And then how it is getting to know that which is the item that I have selected over here. So you will see that this is nothing but a form. So here in this case, gallery is something which will be used for showing multiple items, and then you have got forms. You can use edit form, display form. So in this case, this is a display form. So on the right side, you can see that this is showing us, yep. So here this form is actually a view form, and on the property of this we have written browse gallery one dot selected. So whatever like record that you select from browse gallery, the first gallery is actually going to populate it over here. Okay, so this is a default app. If I take another example, okay, so I have got another app which is like yep. So here in this case, can show you this is open over here, right? So I have got another app. This is your Contoso customers. Now this app, you see that there are a lot of things in this one. Okay, so I can actually take a more complex app when like there will be a different level of formulas written, but the thing is that I want to keep it little easy so that you can understand it. Okay, so over here, this is an app that I have created for your understanding. What it's doing is that it has got multiple connections. Okay, so here in this case, this picture is something that I have not hard coded. There's nothing hard coded in this screen. Whatever information that you are seeing on this screen, this is actually a tablet view. You can go to PowerApps, and in place of like mobile app, you can select any kind of like design, whatever you want. You're targeting an app for tablet, you can go ahead and use it. So in this case right now, if you look into this detail, this picture that I'm getting is actually coming from my profile. So how am I able to populate my picture, my profile picture over here? So I have simply made use of this formula user dot image to get the current image that actually I'm like, it will go ahead and bring in my profile image, whatever whichever picture is there. Then I'm showing a message to the user over here. Hi, current user. This is also something that I'm getting inbuilt from the user function. So if this is an inbuilt function, I have not used any connector. It's a simply like you go ahead and thereafter make use of this function, and through that you will get the current user. But yes, along with that, I'm also showing the current manager. Who is my manager? Whichever person who is connecting to Contoso customers app, I want to show manager name of this person. So how can I fetch manager details? To get manager detail, what I have done is that if you'll see here in list of data sources, I have used a Office 365 user connector. If you go to connections, you can go ahead and here I'll show you. Yeah, so in this case, in this list of connections that I have, it's taking a little longer to open, just hold on. Okay, so here in this case, yeah, so these are connections, and as I said that you can always go ahead and create a connection from here. So I have got a connection with the name Office 365 users. So here in this case, I'm selecting Office 365 users, and thereafter I can create a connection. So I have created a connection over here, and in this, after this, what I have done is that I have made use of this connection. So I have got like once you include connection, thereafter you will get the name of the connection, whatever you have included over here, right? So we have got Office 365 users. This is my connection name. Now once I give connection name, thereafter I can get my profile data, or like you want to read manager, whatever like information you want to fetch, you can actually go ahead and make call of correct method. So here I want to get the manager of current user. So who is the current user is saying that is asking for this parameter that you will have to pass on principal name or email ID whose manager you want to fetch. So I know that I can get the current user simply by using this inbuilt function. So I can get current user through user.email and pass his email, and then after that what exactly you want to read. You want to read just like name of the manager, or you want to read something else. This data that I'm showing you over here, this data is added in Azure Active Directory. Okay, so this Office 365 is connecting to my Azure Active Directory, and from there it is populating this information. And then in this, I'm getting this information of how many customers are included in over here. So I'm getting list of customers. How am I getting the list of customers? The customers list is there, right? So this is my list from where right now I have got 11 items added. So I'm going ahead, I have added a group control to group this controls together, and thereafter in this I'm getting the count of overall customers, whatever like customers that we are having. So I have written this text as count rows. Count rows is a function through which I can read the customers count. I have used a collection in between to store the data to improve the performance. Okay, and then after that we are doing a calculation of what is the total revenue that we are getting from these customers. So here you will see that we have got like I have got another list which is customer revenue, and in customer revenue we have got like this total revenue field. So over here we are doing an addition of this information. So here in this case, right, so you can see that we are doing a text sum. I'm adding this data from customer revenue. All these data sources are already added in my app. You see here that customers, customer revenue, these all data sources are configured. So in this case my task is to go ahead and then call my particular data source, and then which is the field on which you want to do addition. I'm doing that, and then what is the format in which you want to show this information. So I have made use of text function to do the proper formatting. And then finally in the third step I am getting the total product count. Now total product count is something which is not there in my SharePoint. It's not there, but I have got a local SQL table which is there through which I want to connect and get the data. So how can I go ahead and connect to an SQL database that is running locally on my system? You can see this connection over here is connecting to my local machine. So for this to connect to the local machine, I have installed an on-premises data gateway. Now this can be like our SharePoint data source, SharePoint 2010, 2013, or any other data source that you actually want to use. You can go ahead and use that. So when you create a connection, at that time, when you select SharePoint, yep, so here in this case, I select SharePoint, it's going to ask me that, okay, where do you want to like connect? Is it like you want to connect through an on-premise data gateway? So if you have an on-prem gateway installed, then in that case, whatever gateways that are installed on that machine, this will get listed. So I have this gateway which is running over here right now, right? So this is the reason why like it's showing me all the gateways. Yeah, it is saying your gateway is all set up, it's running right now. So through this I'm connecting to SQL. So here in this case is going and connecting to my SQL data source, this particular table which I have production.product, and fetching the information from here. So this is what I'm trying to get over here, the total count of your products that is coming from a local SQL database. So if I go into this customers, now this is like connecting to my list of customers that are there. You can verify it with the list that I'm using, and then I have done few other operations. It is going and bringing the details of the customer. So this is my customer list through which is going and getting connected. Here you see this like FlexMind Solutions, Citrix, Google, Microsoft, that I have added customer name. So I'm going and connecting and bringing this data, and along with that I'm also bringing the revenue. If you see here, we do not have revenue listed over here in customers list. I do not have revenue. The revenue is being maintained in a different list altogether, which is customer revenue. So what I'm doing is that I'm doing a lookup based on the customer ID. So here in PowerApps, on any of the screen, you can go ahead and mix data from various data sources. There's no like dependency that I can use a single data source in any screen. You can go and create a complete mesh of different data sources. You can bring the data from various data sources. So here in this case, it is, we are doing a lookup. So here, if I click on this, you can see that we are going ahead and first of all, like showing the customer name, then I'm getting the customer ID, and then after that I'm doing a lookup to the customer revenue, where I'm checking that the current customer ID that you are getting from the customers list is, if it is there, then you go ahead and bring the total revenue revenue from there. So it's going and bringing total revenue, and thereafter we are doing formatting. So whenever like once you have written the formulas, thereafter you can format it. Okay, otherwise like it will always look like this. So you can always like go ahead, select it and format it. Once you format it, it will become more readable. And also you see here that we can go ahead and do our like you can write your own comments the way we do it in our typical like programming. It makes code more readable for others to like maintain it. So here, this is what we are doing, and thereafter, depending on what exactly you want to do, you want to add a new customer record, or you want to like edit customer record, you can go ahead and then modify this. So on each of this screen, what we have done is that, again, we have added a form, and this form, we have set the item equal to your gallery dot selected. So whatever you select in the gallery, so the moment you are navigating to this screen, it's actually showing you this data. You can always like go ahead, modify this, and then submit this data. When you submit this information, you're calling a function called as submit form, and then giving your entire form, whatever like form that you actually want to submit, you're going ahead and passing it. Now we have got another function that can be used for storing data, which is your patch function. Submit form takes the complete form and adds it to the data source, depending on whether you are doing an edit operation or add operation. But if you want to do a selected update, I don't want all of the fields to be posted back to the server. It's actually going to increase the overall payload, right? So we can always like go ahead and explicitly use patch function, and with the help of patch function you can do a selection of, no, I just want to like include customer name. We don't want people to actually go ahead and change the customer ID irrespective of whatever changes that they make on this screen. First thing is that we can make it read only, or the second thing is that you use a patch function and just update only those fields that you want to. Okay, and then on the, yep, so here if I come back, so then I have got my product list. So you'll see that this all information is coming from my local SQL database. I can go ahead and modify any of these data, right? So here I have got like BB ball bearing, which is third record. So I can come up over here, and this is my reorder point. I can change it to 6,000 to see that whether data is getting updated or not. I'll simply like clicked on this. I can make it more friendly by showing a success message over here. So if it has got modified, then I can go ahead and again trigger this query. So here in this case, yep, so 1 minute. Let me see. So here in this case, this is our on select function. So okay, so on select is written as false. I can make it as like submit form, right? And then my form name over here is product form. So I can take this and I'll give product form and then save it. Once I save it, then once again I'll try making changes and save this. Yep, so it is doing the operation. Now after that I can go ahead and then execute this. So now here you see that the value has got updated to 6,000, right? Also, if you want to, send a notification when people are making changes in the product list, at that time you want to include any kind of like email notification, you can also make use of other connections. So we have got like Office 365 Outlook connection, with the help of which what I can do is that I can go ahead and trigger email. So what is it like you want to do? You want to send an email so that whomsoever you want to actually notify, you can always like either you want to hard code it, you can hard code it, or you want to put any other like person detail, you can put it over here. We can read it from Office 365 group also, and then I can see that this particular product with this product ID was updated, right? So was updated, and then product ID. Okay, so here in this case, after that, I can include what exactly like you want to show to the user. So I can take the product ID from here, right? So this is my control. Now each in your form, each of these fields are actually a data card. So each of the card is made up of like 4 different controls. I want to read this value. So this is your data card value 4. So I can go ahead and then use data card value 4, right? And then read the text. Yep. So likewise, yep. So you can go ahead and then I think maybe I'm okay, not this one. Maybe like I'll have to use another one. Okay. So I can use product number, one example, right? So in this case, data card value 7. I can take. There's a question. Just hold on. I'll read that question. Yep. So here you see that you can send the subject, and thereafter likewise you can include body. You want to format it with proper HTML formatting, that is also something possible. Okay, so I'll just write this is a test mail, right? Test email, and then this is it. You want to write a longer formula, you can always like go ahead and expand it, right? Okay, so there's a question coming up here from Amit. Amit is asking that whether we can send mail to SP groups. SP groups, SharePoint groups, you're saying, right? Not directly, Amit. We'll have to use Office 365 groups. You can trigger email to Office 365 groups directly, not SP groups. The next question is that can we attach flow with Power Apps? Absolutely, you can go ahead and attach it. So on any of the button, if you want to like call a specific flow, then you have got an action over here to call the flow. So whenever like people make changes to this particular screen, you want you want a particular flow to get triggered. So what you do is that you go ahead and call whichever flow you have to call. So here in this case right now you will not see any flow because none of the flow is created with Power Apps as the trigger function. But if you have flow with trigger function, then you can surely like go ahead and call that flow and pass the parameter. Now that is something that we are going to cover in the next webinar that we are going to conduct on Microsoft Flow. So if you are looking for more details in that regard, then you should surely join the next webinar. Okay, so there's a question that are we using same HTML tags? Okay, so what I'll do is that you please just like write your question. I'll take it towards the end. We are reaching the end of the session, but there are like few things which are left out. I'll just like discuss it and then take your questions. Okay. Yep. So here in this case, yep. So this is like a demonstration, and thereafter is your architectural overview of Power Apps. So it's all like via APIs that we are like going ahead and doing all these operations. So whatever like platform that we are connecting to, we can also have custom connectors. It's not just about the standard connectors. We can have our own web APIs hosted in Microsoft Azure or any other platform. And thereafter, with the help of Open API definition file, we can go ahead and use this. Okay, we can connect to a legacy system. So we have got a CRM system which is non-standard. A customer bought it long time back from a non-standard vendor, and now they have a requirement that no, we want to connect it to Power Apps and Flow. Then in that case, we will have to write a custom connector. So we may have to write a web API and thereafter call that web API in our Power Apps. There is the pricing. These are like different pricing category in Power Apps. Up to the time you are working with Office 365 services, we are already covered. So you have got Office 365 Enterprise E3 or like E5 license. Along with that, there are other licenses, this plan also under which this license is included. So you can go ahead and like, yeah, so here, this is what I'm using right now. But yes, if you are working with common data services and you want to use some premium connectors, then you will have to buy a separate license. It's not just for developers, even the consumers, the people who are actually going to use your app. If there's a premium connectors like Salesforce is a premium connector, then you will have to assign license to those users. And the people who are going to maintain the Power Apps overall environment, they'll need a Power App plan too. Connections I've already spoken about. These are like list of connectors to which you can go ahead and connect, right? Gateways. So I've shown you how you can go ahead and install a gateway and then bring the data from your on-premises environment. Okay. I've demonstrated. Now this is the right time to learn Power Apps, Flow, Microsoft Teams. So I know that if you have joined today's session, you are obviously interested in learning about Power Apps in detail. We have got limited time. Within 1 hour, I have tried to, cover as much as I can. So if at all you are looking for training, then we have our next batch starting from 2nd February. The people who have joined the webinar, they'll get a discounted price. So we'll send you the link later on. We have your email ID. You can, if you want to like enroll, we'll give you a discounted price. You can go ahead and enroll. Okay. So these are like contact point. We'll also like send you this deck. We will send you the PDF for the same deck that I'm using over here. Okay. Yeah. Now Q&A. I'll first of all like read out the question that has been asked, and thereafter you're free to go ahead and ask question now. Okay. So after this, like first question is from Keshav asking that are we using same HTML tags to format text in Power Apps? Format text, you're talking about which text, this on the screen of the Power App you're saying? Yeah, it's going to be same HTML. Now next question is that is there a workaround for sending an email to groups as we are able to do in InfoPath? You can do it. You can do it, but it will require a workaround. You will have to make a direct API call to the SharePoint. You know this thing, right? We have got direct REST calls that we can make from Flow as well as Power Apps. So the way we are like using it in our apps or like SharePoint framework, the REST endpoint, you will have to make a call to it, and from there you will have to read the object. Not directly. Now the next question is that how to use the apps anonymously. No, you cannot use it. It is covered with licensing. So if you're thinking that you can add external users and thereafter share it with external users without uh, assigning license, no, it's not possible. And how to use the apps? So like once you have created this, okay, so here in this case, this is my app. If I want you to use this, then what I can do is that I can publish this app. Once I publish this, it's giving me the option to share. So I can go ahead and like share it. Okay, so here in this case, I can click on share this app. And once I click on share this app, I can give the email address of my organization users. And the moment I share it with you, you will be able to see this app in your PowerApps. If you have PowerApps installed on your iPad, tablet, or any like mobile device, and you are connected in through the same tenancy of Office 365, then you can go ahead and access this app. For deployment, we have got environments. For maintaining dev, staging, and production, the organization will have to create different environments, and each of these environment can be used separately as a silos. So developers do the development of the app in one of the environment. Once it is ready, they create the package .msapp package, and they give it to the staging team, to the deployment team, and they take this app and import it. So here you see that we are getting the option to export the package, and then you also have got the option to import whichever like app you have to import. You see here you are also getting the import option. So once it is created, then based on your plan, you will have the option to move the app from one environment to another environment. And at the same time, you'll be able to even modify the connection. I understand that the developer, whatever connection that he would have used, we are not going to run a production app with the same connection. So whenever like the deployment team is actually going to import a Power App to the next environment, at that time, they will get this option to modify the connection. So there they can choose standard connections. If they have like service account created for each of these data sources, they can absolutely go ahead and modify it. Now, how to use the same app in SharePoint? If you want to use the same app, so here in this case, okay, so hold on. I see there are a few other questions. Let me go through the sequence how to use the apps, and thereafter how to use the same app in SharePoint. Yes, so to use this app in SharePoint, for example, like we are looking at Contoso, your customers, I can see here, you can see here that you have got details. So over here you will see this web link and app ID, right? So here we have got this web link and app ID. So how do I go and use this? I can go ahead and on my site, right? Wherever you want to add it, go ahead and you can make use of you can add this web part. So we have got Power Apps in preview. Yep, so here in this case, yep, so you can search over here. Yep, so I have got Microsoft Power Apps. So in this case, I can go ahead and include the web link. You want to add web link, or you can use app ID. So over here, I give the app ID, and then based on the app ID that you give is actually going to connect, right? So here, is it correct? Okay, I missed it out. Yep, so here, once you give the correct app ID, so this app is getting added over here, right? So you can publish it directly from here. Other than this, you can also customize the SharePoint list forms. Okay. Any other question, guys? I'm waiting for more questions. How to use the same? Okay, yep. So this question, I think your question is answered, right? Okay, so thank you so much for joining today's session. Okay, so what is the major different info and Power Apps? You're saying what is the major difference between InfoPath and Power Apps, right? Major difference, InfoPath is tightly coupled to SharePoint. It is going away. It can work mostly with SharePoint. It is not responsive. The forms are not responsive in InfoPath. Whereas Power Apps, you can connect to any kind of data sources. There are 200 plus data sources that business application platform is supporting. You can connect to any of these data sources. Once you create an app, you can run on any of the devices. So people can use it from cross device, and these all things without having any skill in mobile app development. Okay. Guys, if you have any further question, feel free to get in touch. Okay. And as I said, we have upcoming batch. If you are interested, you can actually go ahead and enroll for this particular batch. Okay. We'll share the link for this video. Okay. We'll upload it and thereafter we'll share the link. We'll share, Amit will send you the link. We have your mail ID. We'll send you the deck and the video. Okay. We'll share cost details and other thing. Okay. Over the email. So our team will get in touch with you. You can drop a mail to our mail ID. From there, our team will get in touch with you. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. We'll have next webinar on Microsoft Flow. We'll send you the link. You can join the next webinar. Okay. Thank you.